to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Today I have a quick gift card project to share with you, and this is the sample that I received as a swap in Secaucus, New Jersey at Onstage Local. And this was made by Esther Graybill. And Esther, thank you for swapping with me and giving a wonderful card idea. She's used Whisper White cardstock, and it looks like early espresso. I think this is Blooms and Bliss and Wetlands. And look at the great work that she's made on this gift card holder. I'm really, really thrilled to have received this. And you can stamp on the back, put a little special message on the inside, and best of all, she's got it worked out here to where you put your gift card. So isn't that fantastic? So I'm going to share with you how to duplicate this project. I have made a few in advance, and I will share, and we'll make one in just a few moments. But this is my version. I have a used up gift card that I'm using for practice in here. And I was able to make this with a piece of just basic white cardstock. I chose something that was a retired cardstock, but Stampin' Up! Does have an equivalent of it that is actually in the catalog now. So I will link that in the description and list it in my supplies. This is Presents and Pine Cones paper, and this is the flip side of the paper. And they both coordinate with Emerald Envy cardstock. So you can make this with current Stampin' Up! Products. And I chose to use the stamp set Oh What Fun, because Do Not Open Until Christmas is just too much fun for me to not use. And I've used the sequins on a roll. This is white Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper, and I just took a couple of the sequins and moved them off to the side to kind of bring the eye around. And this is from Layering Ovals, and I chose just 2 ovals that kind of fit in with each other to give a small border. So we'll get started on the project, but I'm so excited to be able to give nieces and nephews something really nice that they want for Christmas, and that's going to be a gift card. And I have a really cool way to package it. Now, can you imagine all of the different ways that you can customize this? You don't have to go with a Christmas theme. How about choosing something that is whatever the interest is of your person receiving the gift? The one piece of advice I do have to keep in mind is that if this is going to go in the mail, like any other regular card, especially if it's going to be mailed, you want to keep in mind that if you are to use any embellishments, such as, you know, you've got the glimmer paper here, and we've got the sequins on a string, I would use something that is as low profile as you can manage. I've got some sequins, and then I've got some beads that I like to put on my projects. And those are really going to be heavier, and they're going to weigh this project down and require an additional stamp, but they also might puncture through the envelope. So that is something to keep in mind, that you're going to want to use a nice firm envelope, and Stampin' Up! Has some wonderful envelopes. This item is finished at, I think, 5.5 by, let me measure it real quick, by 3 inches. So this is 3 inches, and this is 5.5. So enough with me gabbing. Let's get started. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So I'm going to go over the supplies that you'll need, and they will be linked in the description. We have snail adhesive, we have fast fuse, and you do need to use a really strong adhesive in addition to the snail. I like to use fast fuse. You can also use tear and tape. I do not suggest that you use liquid glue on this project, except for in one instance, and then we'll get to that. This is white glimmer paper, and I've used the one of the little sprigs from another stamp set, from a stamp and die set, the one with the Christmas pine cones. But you can really use any kind of a die cut that you have that is like kind of a design neutral, because I think this is supposed to be like mistletoe. You could use a leaf, you could use a flower, whatever you like. I have a couple of glue dots stuck onto the sequins. I have a piece of the sequins on a rope, sequin trim, I think it's what it's called. I call them sequins on a string or sequins on a rope. And this is, again, the Presents and Pine Cones Designer Series paper, and it coordinates with Emerald Envy cardstock. And then I have Cherry Cobbler cardstock and Whisper White cardstock to be able to make the medallion. So with my white cardstock, and you want to use something that is not going to be lightweight cardstock, you want something that's got some body to it. This is one that I had handy. So this piece of paper, I'll share my Post-it with you guys. This piece of paper is cut to 5.5 by 8.5. And this makes it really easy to be able to use a standard piece of cardstock to just, you know, start out and cut as many of these as you're going to need. So this is going to be all about scoring. Once we start off with 8.5 by 5.5, then you keep in mind that whichever direction you would like to have your be the front. This is not going to be folded like a standard side fold card. This is going to be directional. So if you're choosing to use instead of a piece of cardstock, if you're choosing to use a piece of designed cardstock, then I would keep in mind which direction you want to have your pattern going. So I'm going to use my Stampin' trimmer, and you can use a scoreboard or a score buddy or whatever you have. But start out with your measurements on one side of the paper, and then we're going to progress directionally this way. So my first score is going to be at 3 inches. So I'll find the 3-inch, measure the 3-inch here on my Stampin' trimmer. I want to make sure you can really see it. And then you have 2 different blades on the Stampin' trimmer. The light one is for scoring and the dark one is for cutting. We don't want to use the cutting right now. You used that when you were preparing your paper. So I'm going to give it a score. And now we're going to progress the paper to 4.5. So this was at 3. We're going to travel down to 4.25. I'm sorry, I said 4.5 before. So now we're at 4.25, and we're going to give this another score, and then we're going to go to 5.5. And you should have no problem doing this on your Stampin' Up! Trimmer. All right, this is going to be the last one. This is the 5.5. Okay, and we're done with the trimmer for now. So you're going to need a bone folder, and the easiest way that I have found to put this together is there's 2 different ways, and I'll show you the typical way, and then I'll show you what my way was. The typical way is to just start folding these and then fold this back on itself, and then voila, here you go. You've got your gift card holder. However, I made a couple of these, and one of the tips that I would suggest is to let's do this part first, because we're going to place a cut in here. So I would suggest that you use your bone folder, burnish this really well, and then get the fast fuse before we start burnishing everything else. Looking at where the score line is up against the edge, we're going to place the fast fuse. And the fast fuse, I saw a tip on one of the Stampin' Up! Videos, and they instruct that you're supposed to hold it up here and not up here. And, you know, I tried it, and it really does work better when you hold the sides. So those Stampin' Up! Videos that they talk about products, they are definitely worth your while to watch. So now that we have this, and we're not going to put the tear and tape. So this is the score line here, here, and here. So this is laid up along the score line. If I were to put that tape here along this middle score line, then we would not be able to cut through and have this little pocket. So that's why we're placing it up close here, and it's going to keep us nice and closed. All right, so once we do that, then we can activate that adhesive. Now we're ready to do our burnishing in the other direction. You can do that now, or what you can do is how I did it. I'm going to go ahead and make the cut that is going to hold the gift card. And I should have done this in advance, and I apologize, but I'm going to use a pencil. I just used my scissors before, but I would like for you guys to actually be able to see what it is instead of just listening to me. So here is where I'm going to be making the cut with my scissors, like this. So I hope you're able to really see how I'm going to be cutting it, because I'm going to go in with the scissors and cut along this line here. Now if we had put the fast fuse up here, we would be cutting it away and nothing would hold this portion of the card closed. So that's the reasoning behind where we place it. All right, and once this is taken away, that's trash. So we do have enough room in here, and you can use your scissors or something and make sure that you have the pocket, because this is where the gift card's actually going to go. All right, so now we can close this up and we'll burnish these. And do you see how we have the gift card holder? So now the fun part is, how do you want to decorate your wonderful gift card holder? Do you want to make it just a Christmas? That's what I've done, because I can make up a whole bunch of these and have a customized gift card holder that I can actually write on the inside. So I'll show you how I did it. Now you can make this for a birthday and go with a balloon and have a balloon. There's so many possibilities. I was really excited to see this. The measurements of the pieces of paper that go on the front are: the solid piece of cardstock is 5 1/4 by 2 3/4, and the pattern paper that fits inside is 5 inches by 2.5 inches. So this is where I will be able to use my snail adhesive, and I'm going to attach it to the cardstock, just centering everything, and give it just a nice push, not too hard. All right, and we can take this, and now we can use fast fuse to attach it down to the card. So fast fuse is going to come back. The reason that I did not choose to use snail is because this is a textured cardstock, and it has this is one of the cardstocks where you can use a brayer or a mister, and it has embossing so that it will do emboss resist. And I didn't want to take a chance that this was going to come apart whenever it's received. So that's the reasoning why I'm using fast fuse to attach it down. And here we go. And just apply light pressure. So now these are the dies. I just wanted to be able to show you which ones that I'm using. And we can assemble this medallion. And I'm using Stampin' Dimensionals. And I will just center it and give it some light pressure. Now before I adhere this straight down here, I want to apply my embellishments down to where this medallion will secure the end of the embellishments. So how I'm going to go about doing that is, this is cut from the thick cardstock that is glimmer paper, and I have the fine tip glue pen. You could use the Tombow liquid glue in this instance if you like. I just like the fine tip glue pen because I had it out and I try to use it as much as I can. So this is going to go off to the side. So you can kind of use your medallion as a guide if you're going to center it. And now I will do something with the sequins on a string. I found that if you kind of make it go almost in a figure 8, that it makes these sequins behave a little bit better because they want to run wild whenever I use them. I don't use them as often as I could just for this exact reason. So I'm going back in with this fast fuse once again because this is some really sticky stuff. And I want it to stay. I want this to stay put. I don't want it to run around. So once these are stuck in place, and it doesn't matter if it hangs off at an angle or not, I'm perfectly okay with it because it's really, this is what is going to be what your eye is drawn to. So now we can use snail adhesive or fast fuse or the fine tip glue pen, whatever you would like, you can use for attaching. Because this is going to be here and I'm setting it on top of my embellishments, I'm just going to give a little extra coverage of snail to make sure that everything stays put where it's supposed to be. And I use my grid paper to help me center things. And there it is. Now I kept out a couple of sequins and I used glue dots. And I had the glue dots that have the backing on them because I got them in a paper pumpkin kit. So I'll be interested to see if you guys reuse all of the things that you have in your paper pumpkin kits or whatever your craft kits are. If you throw those things away unused when you're finished with your project, I don't. I keep them. If there's a couple of extra glue dots, then I'll find a project to use them on. So these little tweezers are so sharp that they are great at taking the backing paper off. Now this is the fun part, is figuring out where to put the sequins. All right, I forgot to put the lid here. There we go. I don't want that to clog up. So this is pretty much finished. Now, the only thing that I would choose to do above and beyond is to pick a stamp. And I've got the stamp set here for Oh What Fun. And this is the one that I used here, is Don't Open Till Christmas. So I would go in with maybe some holly or the bells, and maybe, you know, put the to and the from, and that way Merry Wishes up here, something to personalize it to the person that you're actually going to be giving it to. This stamp set is great for making tags, for making Christmas cards. You can do a lot of stuff with this stamp set here. So here again, I will show you guys. They all end up being a little bit different. They're all individuals, and I tried to make them in the same, you know, kind of look with each other. I used the same products on all of them. This is the same paper. I just flipped it over, and this is the wonderful sample again from Miss Esther. So thank you again, Miss Esther. You have sparked a great idea for me to be able to make for some happy nieces and nephews this Christmas. And I welcome you guys to go over to my YouTube channel, or over to my blog, and go and get a new card idea every day, a new project every single day. And while you're there, you can subscribe, and you'll receive that card making idea from my blog directly into your email. So if you like to do that, it's jennystampsup.com. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments or questions, then please feel free to comment in this video. Thank you once again for joining me in another card making tutorial. And I'm so happy to be able to bring this really cool idea. It's just, I don't know what it is about this particular one. It really struck me as, I think kids are going to like this. getting their own card, but having a gift card in it. So just fun to share with you guys. So thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.